There is a silence that follows us, a hollow echo beneath the noise of our days. It waits patient and undisturbed, like a cavern untouched by light, like a wilderness where no voice can find its way back. This is the truth about your inner emptiness. It is not your enemy, it is your oracle. You spend your days filling this space, scrolling, consuming, producing, achieving. But what is it that you truly avoid? It is not failure, nor loneliness, nor rejection. It is the terror of sitting still and finding that beneath the surface of your life there is nothing. Yet this nothingness is not absence, but potential. It is not death, but the womb. For even the Spirit of God, as Genesis tells us, hovered over the formless void before creation. Emptiness is the first condition of becoming, but we fear it, because emptiness confronts us with the question we dare not ask. Who are you when you are no longer what you do? Who are you when there are no more masks to wear, no more tasks to complete, no more mirrors to reflect back a self you barely recognize? Carl Jung named it the shadow, the unseen part of you, the rejected, denied, and banished fragments. These fragments populate your inner emptiness like forgotten exiles. You fear the emptiness because you fear what it contains, the voices of your wounds, your disappointments, your untamed desires. But the shadow is not your darkness. It is your light unclaimed. Your emptiness is the crucible in which you meet the parts of yourself you have avoided. It is the place where your ego, that fragile construction of roles and images, finally shatters. And this shattering is holy. For as the psalmist cries out, the sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. Emptiness is the breaking. It is the necessary death before resurrection. You run from your emptiness because you believe that it is a void that will consume you. But what you do not see is that it is the very place where God waits to form you anew. The inner emptiness is not an abyss. It is a threshold. But to cross it, you must surrender. You must let go of all the roles you cling to for identity. The achiever, the lover, the rebel, the victim, the hero. All these are masks forged by your ego to survive the unbearable truth that you have forgotten who you really are. The ego fears emptiness because it cannot survive there, but the soul longs for it because only there does it remember itself. The ancient words echo still. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness is the doorway to the divine. Stillness is the arena of the soul's remembering. Your emptiness is not an accident, nor is it a failure. It is the inevitable call to awaken. Every human being, if they live long enough, is confronted with this call. Some anesthetize it with addiction, others drown it in busyness, but a few, a rare few, answer. If you answer, you will walk the path of individuation, Jung's sacred journey of becoming whole. But know this, to become whole, you must first become empty. You must descend into your own depths, face your own nothingness, and there, stripped of all illusion, you will find not despair, but possibility. The darkness you feared will become the soil from which your true self grows. For even Christ, the image of the archetypal self, descended into death before ascending into glory. And so must you. This is the pattern of all transformation. Descent, death, rebirth. The truth about your inner emptiness is that it is not the end of you, but the beginning. But the journey inward is not easy. You will face the wilderness of your unconscious, where the wild beasts of instinct and repressed emotion roam freely. You will confront the serpent that tempted you to deny your own nature, the dragon that guards the treasure of your lost authenticity. But remember this, as Proverbs declares, the spirit of a man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all his innermost parts. Your own spirit, illumined by divine wisdom, will guide you through this inner night. The emptiness is a sacred space, a holy ground where only those who dare to shed their illusions can stand. And so, the question comes again, will you enter, or will you, like so many, continue to live on the surface of your life, terrified of what the depths might reveal? Because the truth is this, your inner emptiness is not there to punish you. It is there to awaken you. It is there to remind you that you are more than your habits, your fears, your compulsions. It is there to call you back to the primal encounter with your own soul. Jung wrote, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, but who you truly are cannot be found in the noise of the world. It is only found in the silence of the self, the silence of emptiness, the silence where God speaks, the silence where you remember, the silence that is not void, but fullness waiting to be born. So do not fear your emptiness. Enter it, sit with it, let it teach you, let it break you, let it transform you, for only then will you know the truth about your inner emptiness, that it was never empty at all. It was always full of the parts of you waiting to be seen, waiting to be loved, waiting to be integrated into the wholeness of your being. And it is there, in that inner sanctuary, that your true life begins. You see, the emptiness you feel is the summons to descend from the brittle heights of your constructed identity into the dark and fertile ground of your unconscious. This is not a fall, it is a return. For too long you have believed that your value is measured by your productivity, your attractiveness, your competence, appearance. But the soul does not care for these masks. The soul cares only for truth, for wholeness, for the ancient reunion of all that you are. Carl Jung called this journey the confrontation with the unconscious, that vast inner ocean you were taught to fear. But the fear arises only because you have been taught to see the unconscious as chaos. In truth, it is cosmos, an ordered but mysterious landscape where the archetypes of your humanity dwell. The mother, the father, the child, the wise one, the trickster, the lover, the warrior. They are not fantasies. They are the primal patterns of your being, older than your personal story, deeper than your wounds. Your inner emptiness is the gate through which you must pass to encounter these ancient forces within yourself. It is here that you realize you are not just an individual with a name and a history. You are a vessel through which the timeless energies of human existence flow. The loneliness you feel is not because you are disconnected from others, but because you are disconnected from these inner realities. You have been taught to live in the daylight of consciousness, but ignored the twilight where the soul speaks. You have been trained to seek certainty, but avoided the mystery where the spirit moves. And so your life becomes flat, colorless, mechanical, and the emptiness grows. But the emptiness is not the problem. It is the solution. It is the signal that your soul is calling you back to the wholeness you have abandoned. You must go inward. You must turn away from the superficial satisfactions and enter the desert of your own soul. The desert where Jesus himself wandered for 40 days, wrestling not with demons outside but with the archetypes within, the hunger for power, the thirst for validation, the temptation to deny his true nature. You too must face these, for your inner emptiness contains all the parts of you that you have rejected: your vulnerability, your anger, your creativity, your longing for love, your capacity for transcendence. These are not enemies. They are the lost children of your psyche, waiting to be reclaimed. As the psalmist laments, "Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you in turmoil within me?" The soul knows when it has been exiled, and it weeps in your emptiness. But if you are willing, if you are courageous, you can descend and gather these parts once more. This is not a linear path. It is a spiral, circling ever closer to the center where your true self resides. Not the self that performs for approval, not the self that conforms for safety, but the self that is rooted in the image of God, Imago Dei, the divine spark that cannot be extinguished, no matter how deeply it has been buried beneath the rubble of your survival strategies. Your inner emptiness is the ache of that buried self, longing to rise, longing to breathe, longing to be seen. But to see it, you must first unsee all that you thought you were. You must surrender your attachment to certainty. You must release your addiction to control. You must let yourself fall. For as the ancient proverb teaches, before honor comes humility. The humility of admitting that you do not know who you are. The humility of acknowledging that your carefully curated life is not enough. The humility of facing the terrifying possibility that everything you have been running from is exactly what you need to encounter. And in this humility, something miraculous begins. The emptiness, once cold and vast, begins to feel alive, not filled with noise, not crowded with distractions, but alive with presence. The presence of yourself, the presence of God, the presence of life itself, stripped of illusion, stripped of pretense. You come to understand that your inner emptiness was never a defect. It was the necessary clearing, the sacred space in which your soul could finally speak without being drowned out by the endless chatter of your conditioned mind. It is here that you hear the whisper, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your emptiness is not a curse, it is your invitation. An invitation to stop striving and start surrendering, to stop pretending and start becoming, to stop fearing and start loving, beginning with yourself. For only when you love the parts of yourself that you have rejected, can you love others without condition, without manipulation, without fear. This is the secret the world will not tell you. The world will tell you to escape your emptiness, to numb it, distract it, seduce it. But the wisdom of the soul, the wisdom of the ages, the wisdom of Scripture, it tells you to enter it, to dwell within it, to let it transform you. For it is written, "He brought me out into a spacious place. He rescued me because he delighted in me." Your inner emptiness is the narrow place through which you must pass to reach that spaciousness. It is the crucible where your false self is burned away, and only what is eternal remains. And what is eternal within you? It is love. It is presence. It is the self, united with the divine, unshaken by the storms of life, unafraid of the void, because it knows the void is full of God. So take courage. The journey through your inner emptiness is the most sacred pilgrimage you will ever undertake. It will not destroy you. It will deliver you. It will not diminish you. It will make you whole. And in this wholeness, you will finally know peace, not the fragile peace of avoidance, but the fierce peace of authenticity, the peace that passes all understanding, the peace of becoming who you truly are. And yet the path through your inner emptiness is not a single step, nor a destination you can mark upon a map. It is a slow unfolding, like the petals of a flower reaching cautiously toward the sun after long seasons buried in darkness. There will be days when you feel lost again, when the emptiness reasserts itself, when the shadows creep once more across the fragile ground of your awakening. But do not mistake this for failure. The soul does not move in straight lines. It moves in cycles, in rhythms as ancient as the tides, as inevitable as the rising and setting of the sun. Jung wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain, and this is the secret hidden in your emptiness. It hurts because it is working. The ache you feel in your chest, the restless void in your gut, the heavy silence that lingers even in moments of joy. These are not signs of brokenness, but signs of life. Life, pressing against the walls of your old self, yearning to break free, to expand beyond the confines of who you believed you had to be. And so you must let the old self die. Let it fall like a leaf in autumn, beautiful in its surrender, graceful in its letting go. For unless the seed falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. This is the paradox at the heart of your emptiness, that to become full, you must first become empty. To be reborn, you must first let yourself dissolve. The caterpillar does not resist the cocoon. It yields to it, trusting that the darkness will do its sacred work, trusting that in time it will emerge transformed, winged, no longer crawling but capable of flight. And so must you. Do not resist the cocoon of your emptiness. Do not flee the darkness that wraps itself around you. Stay, wait, listen, for there are voices in the silence that can only be heard when all other noise has been stripped away. The voice of the self, steady and ancient. The voice of the spirit, gentle and persistent. The voice of your ancestors whispering through the bloodlines of your being. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even in your emptiness, you are accompanied by the archetypes that dwell within you, by the wisdom of those who walked this path before you, by the very breath of God, sustaining you moment by moment, even when you feel most abandoned. As Psalm 139 declares, "If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me." Your emptiness is not beyond the reach of the divine. It is where the divine waits most faithfully, not at the heights of your accomplishments, not in the applause of others, but in the quiet, unseen places where you are stripped bare and left with nothing but your raw, unguarded self. This is the holy ground. This is the inner sanctum, and it is here that the real work begins. The work of integration. The work of gathering all the scattered fragments of your being. The child who was wounded and silenced, the adolescent who rebelled and raged, the adult who conformed and coped, and welcoming them back home. One by one, you invite them into the circle of your awareness, not to judge them, not to fix them, but to listen, to see, to love. For it is only through love that these exiled parts are healed, only through compassion that the fractured self becomes whole again. The inner emptiness you feel is the space where this reunion must occur. It is the container for your becoming, and in time, you will find that the emptiness is no longer empty. It has become a temple, a sacred space where you are finally at home with yourself, where you are no longer at war with your past, no longer enslaved by your fears, no longer dependent on external validation to feel worthy. Here, in this inner sanctuary, you meet the self, not the self you constructed to survive, but the self that was always there, waiting patiently beneath the layers of persona and defense. And when you meet this self, you will know a peace that no achievement, no relationship, no possession could ever give you, because this peace is not contingent upon anything outside of you. It is the peace of alignment, the peace of authenticity, the peace of knowing at last that you are enough, not because you have proven yourself, not because you have perfected yourself, but because you have reclaimed yourself, all of yourself, the light and the dark, the strength and the weakness, the joy and the sorrow. For this is the truth about your inner emptiness. It was never asking you to fill it with more doing, more achieving, more acquiring. It was asking you to fill it with presence, with awareness, with love. And now, at last, you are ready. Ready to stop running, ready to stop hiding, ready to stop striving for what was never meant to satisfy, and instead to rest, to abide, to dwell within yourself as within a home built on the rock of being, unshaken by the winds of circumstance, unbroken by the storms of life. This is the gift of your emptiness. This is the wisdom it has been offering you all along. And now you know, now you see, now you are free. But freedom is not the end. It is the beginning. For once you have passed through the crucible of your inner emptiness, once you have sat in its silent chambers and allowed it to strip you of all that is false, you emerge not as the person you were, but as the person you were always meant to become. You walk out of the wilderness with new eyes, able to see the world not through the lens of fear or lack, but through the clarity of love and presence. The noise of the year world may continue. The demands, the expectations, the illusions, they will all persist. But now you are no longer enslaved enslaved by them. You have tasted something deeper, the profound, unshakable ground of your own being. You have come home. This is the essence of individuation, not the perfection of the self, but the reconciliation of all that you are, the integration of all that you have been, and the opening to all that you are yet to become. It is here that the words of the psalm resonate like never before. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He restores my soul. Restoration. That is what your emptiness was always about. Not punishment, not deficiency, but restoration. Your soul was calling you back to itself, through the language of longing, through the ache of absence, through the whisper of emptiness. And now that you have listened, now that you have answered, you carry within you a new strength, not the brittle armor of the ego, but the resilient softness of the soul, the quiet power of one who knows who they are, and no longer needs the world's permission to exist. This is the peace of the self, the peace of the one who has faced their own darkness, and found there not a monster, but a misunderstood child, not a void, but a womb, the peace of the one who no longer fears emptiness, but welcomes it as the sacred space from which all true creativity and connection emerge. For what is emptiness but the readiness to receive? The barren soil ready for new seed, the quiet canvas prepared for new art, the still water reflecting the heavens above. And so now, you become a vessel through which life can move freely, unblocked by the dams of fear, unclouded by the sediment of falsehood. You become, in the words of Scripture, like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Your roots run deep now, deep into the dark earth of your inner life, deep into the source from which all being flows, and from this rootedness, you bear fruit, not out of compulsion, not to prove your worth, but naturally, effortlessly, as an outpouring of the wholeness you now embody. Your relationships change, your work changes, your presence changes. For now, you meet the world, not as one seeking to be filled, but as one who is already full, and this fullness is not arrogant. It is humble, it does not shout, it simply is. It moves through the world quietly, healing, blessing, creating, loving. This is the paradox, that only those who have embraced their inner emptiness can truly know fullness. Only those who have descended into the depths can rise to the heights. Only those who have died to the false self can be reborn into their true nature. As Jung wrote, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You have made the darkness conscious. You have walked through your night of the soul and found that it did not destroy you. It refined you. It purified you. It awakened you. And now, as you stand on the other side, you realize that the emptiness you once feared has become your greatest teacher, your most faithful companion, your most profound source of wisdom. It has taught you to stop seeking yourself in the eyes of others. It has taught you to stop measuring your worth by transient achievements. It has taught you to trust the slow, mysterious unfolding of your own soul. And now, you can rest, not in passivity, but in deep, abiding presence. Now you can move through the world with grace, not grasping, but offering. Now you can love without need, give without depletion, create without fear. This is the truth about your inner emptiness. It was never empty at all. It was full, full of the life you had not yet lived, full of the self you had not yet met, full of the God you had not yet recognized within you. And now that you have seen this, now that you have tasted this, you know that you can never go back to the shallow existence you once called life. You have been initiated, you have been transformed, you have been set free. And though the path of wholeness will continue, for there will always be new shadows to integrate, new wounds to heal, new mysteries to explore, you walk it now with the confidence of one who knows. The emptiness is no longer something to fear. It is something to welcome, something to embrace, something to cherish. For it is in the emptiness that the soul finds its voice. It is in the silence that God speaks. It is in the stillness that you remember who you are. And so, as you move forward from this place, remember, when the emptiness returns, as it will, in cycles and seasons, do not run, do not hide, do not numb. Instead, breathe, open, listen, and trust. For the emptiness is not your enemy. It is your guide. It is your teacher. It is your invitation, always eternally calling you home.